Marcus and Jessica were turned away at the door of the exclusive restaurant. No apology, no explanation. The cold dismissal stung, but what happened next shocked the entire city's elite. Revenge was no longer a choice, it was inevitable. But let's start from the very beginning. In the heart of downtown, Marcus and Jessica walked into a sleek, upscale restaurant, eager to celebrate their anniversary. The ambiance promised a perfect evening. Soft lighting, the hum of quiet conversations, the clink of fine glassware. They had heard nothing but glowing reviews about the place, making it the perfect spot for their special night. As they approached the host stand, a young hostess greeted them with a stiff smile that barely reached her eyes. Without even looking at the reservation list, she paused, her gaze flicking briefly between them. "I'm sorry, we don't have a table available right now," she said, her tone cold, almost mechanical. Marcus blinked in confusion. "We made a reservation," he said, his voice soft but steady, hoping to clear up some misunderstanding. The hostess barely acknowledged him. "Our manager said we're full for the night." Her words were flat, rehearsed. Marcus's eyes shifted to the dining room behind her, where several tables remained empty, beautifully set, waiting for guests. A moment of silence passed. Then Jessica spoke up, her voice calm but edged with the uncertainty of someone trying to reason with an unreasonable situation. "We don't understand. Your website said you were still accepting reservations." But the hostess was unmoved, her shoulders stiff. "I'm just following orders," she replied, as if it were the most natural thing in the world to deny them without explanation. The couple exchanged a look, a silent agreement passing between them. They were being dismissed. No reason, no apology. Just an insidious, unspoken message. They weren't welcome. Wordlessly, they turned and walked away, the injustice of the situation settling in their bones. Marcus's mind raced, his fists clenched at his sides, but he didn't say anything. Jessica's face was a mixture of frustration and disbelief. They didn't have to say it out loud. They both knew the truth. It wasn't just bad service. It wasn't just a mistake. They had been rejected because of their race. And though it was never said, the sting of humiliation cut deep. The following day, Marcus and Jessica shared their experience with friends and family, hoping for some support and understanding. What started as a personal frustration quickly gained momentum. Their story, fueled by anger and disbelief, spread across social media like wildfire. Friends and followers began sharing the post, adding their voices to the chorus of outrage. Soon, news outlets picked up the story, amplifying the couple's account of the night and the indignity they faced. The outrage was palpable. People from every corner of the city were shocked, some even horrified. The restaurant, once a respected establishment, now found itself at the center of a firestorm. Reviews poured in on Yelp, Google, and every platform imaginable, condemning the restaurant for its discriminatory actions. Each review added fuel to the growing anger, and it didn't take long for the restaurant's reputation to crumble under the weight of public scrutiny. But it wasn't just the hostess being blamed. The public's outrage ran deeper. As people voiced their frustrations, one question lingered above all others. Why did she turn them away in the first place? Was it an isolated incident? Or was there something more sinister at play? The media dug deeper, determined to uncover the full story behind the denial. It didn't take long to uncover the name of the manager, Alan Fisher, a man known for his meticulous control over the restaurant and a reputation for strictness. In the local food scene, he was regarded as someone who would tolerate no mistakes, someone who was known for his no-nonsense approach to running his business. But as more stories emerged, the truth began to unravel. Customers who had experienced similar treatment came forward, revealing that Marcus and Jessica's story wasn't a one-off. There were whispers of an unspoken pressure among the staff, an atmosphere where employees were forced to follow Allen's orders, regardless of how wrong or unjust they felt. Fear of retribution loomed over them, silencing dissent. The deeper the investigation went, the more it became clear. This wasn't just about a single hostess or a misunderstanding. It was about a culture of intimidation and prejudice that ran deeper than anyone had anticipated. And the city was watching, waiting to see how this would unfold. Days went by, but the firestorm around Alan Fisher and his restaurant only intensified. The public's outrage showed no signs of slowing, and the pressure on Alan continued to mount. In a desperate attempt to quell the growing backlash, Alan posted an apology online. He framed the incident as a misunderstanding, insisting that the situation had been blown out of proportion. His words seemed rehearsed, hollow, and entirely insufficient. The public saw through it. The anger only deepened. Marcus, still grappling with the hurt and humiliation from the night at the restaurant, found himself unable to let the matter go. It wasn't just about the rejection anymore. It was about a system of prejudice that had to be confronted. The anger burned inside him, pushing him to do something he had been avoiding. He decided to confront Alan directly. He reached out to the restaurant, demanding a meeting. The day of the meeting arrived, and Marcus was calm, but his resolve was unshakable. He entered the room with a clear purpose. As he sat across from Alan, he wasted no time. "You have no idea how deeply hurtful that rejection was," Marcus said, his voice steady but firm. "It wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't a one-off. That was your restaurant's culture on display, a culture that turns people away because of the color of their skin." Alan shifted uncomfortably, his confidence slipping. He tried to brush off Marcus's words, offering weak justifications, but the weight of Marcus's conviction made it clear that this wasn't something that could be easily dismissed. As the conversation heated, Alan's facade cracked. He grew defensive, his true feelings slipping out. He admitted, almost casually, that he had never truly believed in diversity. He didn't see the need to cater to all kinds of people and believed his high-end clientele deserved better. Marcus was stunned, but his anger boiled over. In a sudden surge of emotion, he stood up. He looked Alan dead in the eye and said, "You may think you're above people like me, but you're not. You'll pay for this. We'll make sure the world knows the truth." Without another word, he walked out, leaving Alan to stew in the reality of what he had just admitted. The battle had only just begun, and Marcus knew it. The fight for justice was no longer a choice. It was personal. The aftermath is swift and merciless. Marcus, with Jessica by his side, goes public with the full recording of the meeting. His words resonate with thousands as they uncover Alan's blatant racism and disregard for diversity. More and more reviews pile up on the restaurant's pages. But this time, it's not just about one incident. It's about a systemic problem that must be addressed. The public outrage forces investors and the media to take notice. In a stunning turn of events, Alan is fired, and the restaurant is forced to shut down temporarily for a full review of its policies. The couple receives widespread support from various civil rights organizations, and the restaurant faces a permanent boycott. Justice has been restored, not in the way Marcus expected, but in a way that gives him a sense of closure. He can finally breathe easy knowing that he stood up for himself and his community. As the dust settles, Marcus and Jessica are hailed as heroes, but they know the fight isn't over. They have won this battle, but the war against injustice is far from done. The victory, while sweet, is tempered by the harsh reality of how deep-rooted racism still is in everyday life. Nonetheless, Marcus feels a new sense of purpose. He will keep fighting for what's right.